Hello, NFL fans. Welcome back to another episode of Hurdle the Line. Yes, it's me, your host, Chapman. I am still alive after that awful performance of my team yesterday. And join with me, as always, is my co-host, Tom. Tom, that was a bad Sunday of football, was it not?
Yeah. It was pretty atrocious, to be honest. There was only, I think, two games that I could think of that were actually good. So yeah,
And we will talk about those games.
yeah.
Please save them because we have very little good to talk about. Um, but we will try to make it as entertaining as possible and catch you guys up on everything. Thank you so much for joining us. As you can hear, it's just Tom. We are missing our co-host Ollie, and super producer Fletch is spending time with his family, which he should. It's half term. I know a lot of people are out on at my work. I'm sure probably where you're at. Anyway, thank you so much for coming back and joining us again. We are going to start off with some news, as we always do. Very sad news that started the day on Sunday, which was that Nick Mangold, former Jets legend, passed away from kidney failure at the really young age of 41. He has four children that he leaves behind and a wife, and I know a lot of family and a lot of friends. I happen to be watching ESPN, and he played for Rex Ryan for over 6 years. That Rex was the head coach of the Jets, and had a lot of the success early on. And it was really hard to see Rex get the news like live on TV. I believe that he had maybe a week ago had said Mangold had reached out about the fact that he needed a kidney transplant because of a disease, and unfortunately, he did not get that. And so our hearts go out to his family. Obviously, all the Jets, former players, and people that knew him. And I remember he's like one of the few like kind of linemen. Yeah, he was a center, right?
Yeah, yeah, center,
Yeah,
yeah.
center. Yeah,
Yeah.
and sorry, and yeah, it's just sad to see someone that young and somebody who I think was incredibly well liked by his teammates and to pass. So we're very sad for his family and friends and former teammates.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's not just the football aspect of, obviously he was a really, really good player, seven-time Pro Bowler, three-time All-Pro, but also it seems like, and this was what happened when he got, inducted into the Jets Ring of Honor, that he just seems like he's an even better person than he is a player as well, and just a great guy. So yes, sad loss for the football and community.
Yes. Um, Again, really sad for everybody. And yeah, moving on. Also sad to hear that rookie running back, New York Giants, Cam Scatterboo, has a dislocated ankle. I believe he had surgery yesterday, right
Yeah.
after the game
I mean, the fact
in Philadelphia.
whenever you got an injury, that it cuts away from it a second later, saying we're going to commercial break, we're not showing the injury, like it's bad. And when you see the replays, I mean, I watched it once and almost crawled out of my skin, like that was horrible to watch. But the fact that he then gets injured and then he almost wanted to get up and walk off the field, even though his ankle was facing the wrong way, just shows the kind of player and guy that he is, and he's brought a lot of positivity to New York football, and you could see how it affected Jackson Dart as well. After he went out, and obviously the Eagles won that game, but it's kind of tertiary to Cam Spatterboom being out for the season. So yeah, real shame.
Awesome. Like neighbors out for the season. I just feel bad for the Giants. That sucks. And also Jackson Dart, while he's playing well, he's also playing like a madman that looks like he's probably going to get himself decapitated at some point. But anyway, that's sad news. Also, the Bills defensive player Ed Oliver, who is a key player for them. Defensive tackle, obviously. Sorry. Um, it's feared that he might have a significant bicep injury. We still don't know exactly what that means, but it sounds like it could be something that would either take him out for a significant portion of the season or for the entire season. So we don't know yet.
Yeah, they're waiting on the MRI for that, I think, to judge the severity of it. But yeah, either way, he's out indefinitely, which is a massive blow to the Bills defense.
Yes. There's a couple of other like more minor injuries to players that we If we don't know their name off the top of our heads, then no offense, we're probably not covering that over here. But that's just the breaks. Anything else on your side, Tom, that you want to get into before we start going through these games?
No, no, let's go through the what positivity we can find from these games.
Well, I'm going to start. I'm not saying it was the the greatest game of all time, but the New York Jets finally win a game. And they defeat the Cincinnati Bengals, as I like to say, or as some other people like to say. The
Bungles.
yeah, the Bungles, or the Bungles, as I always grew up, 38-39. Um, this was a wild one. The Jets end up scoring 23 points in the fourth quarter. Big win for Justin Fields after being maligned all week and benched last week. Tyler Taylor, who always seems like whenever it's time for him to play as a backup, he's always
Mm.
hurt. But anyway, um, a really weird game. I only really got to see kind of towards the end of it yesterday, but yeah, the Jets finally win. One, Aaron Glenn gets his first win as a coach. They badly needed this, and I would say this is a weirdly a worse loss for the Bengals, who are now at 3-5, than it is actually a better win for the Jets, even though the Jets were winless after 9 weeks.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think this was a pretty devastating loss for the Bengals. They had this game won. I think they had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter. But yeah, they kind of threw this game away, especially defensively. Offensively, they did what they wanted. They ran up and down the field. Samaje Perine looked like he was 22 years old. And Chase Brown, there was one specific play that was really impressive, showed his IQ in the game. He was supposed to pitch it back to Flacco, but he saw that the defender was on him. So instead of pitching it back, he kept on to the ball and then ran for a first down, which was just like a really heads up, smart football play. And he had a really good game as well. But yeah, all credit goes to the Jets, coming back from 14 points down, especially to Breece Hall,
15-point down.
15 points down even. Yeah, so yeah, incredible comeback from them.
Brees Hall threw a touchdown yesterday.
Yeah, he in the win over the Bengals, Breece Hall became the first running back with at least 125 rushing yards, multiple rushing touchdowns, and a touchdown pass in a single game since LaDainian Tomlinson in week 3 of 2005. So that was electric as well. The game-winning touchdown, it was a trick play with Breece Hall throwing it to Mason Taylor, grabbing it above the Bengals defender's head, and that kind of sealed the win, really. Obviously, the Bengals did have a chance at the end of the game to go down the field, and win it with a field goal. But fair play to the Jets defense. It was a bend not break defense. They kind of were run all over. But when it mattered most, they held it up, and they were able to come out with the win. And even more special that they could get this win, with everything that we were just saying before, with Nick Mangold, and felt like this was the win for him, and their first win of the season. Very happy for Aaron Glenn, and especially for Justin Fields with all the stuff that he said, being vulnerable this week. I think that's really positive, very refreshing for someone to come out and say that sort of stuff, because we don't really hear that a lot, especially the NFL, such a kind of macho sport. So that was really good to hear.
Yeah. And this win comes without two of their top stars, Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson, both out for this one. The Jets also rushed for 245 yards. Two other teams did that this week, which we'll talk about later. And that's the first time that's happened all season that a team has rushed for that many. The Bengals also had a chance to go 4-4 with Burrow potentially still maybe coming back in December, and after that big win with Flacco the week before. And because the AFC North is definitely not as good as it should have
Nope,
been, and they really did have a chance to kind of stay in it with a win, but that they did not, and that
they
sucks for
did
them.
not.
All right, Tom. Oh, sorry, I did that thing where I do every time I click out of my little scoreboard, and I have to wait for it to come back. So,
No
vamp,
worries.
vamp, vamp, vamp. All right, man, where shall we go?
I
Let's
mean,
talk.
we should probably go for Sunday night football, right?
let's go Sunday Night Football. I did not get a chance to watch it. You did.
I
Uh,
did. I watched the highlights. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you watched the highlights. Packers win 35 to 25 over the about said Ben Roethlisberger. Jeez. The Aaron Rodgers led
Did you
Steelers.
just wake up from a
Listen,
coma from like 2019
yeah, I
or
did. I
something?
did. I did. I did. I don't know. I think it's just like he was there so long. Anyway, this was obviously his revenge game against the Packers. This is the first time he's faced the Packers since leaving them 3 years ago. But Jordan Love and the Packers put up 21 in the fourth quarter, win this game. Tell us about it, Tom.
Yeah, it was a good back and forth game. I mean, the Steelers kind of took control, it looked like at points in this game. They were up, I think, 17-9 at one point before kind of an explosion in the fourth quarter. But I give a lot of credit to Jordan Love. He had 20 straight completions in this game,
Oh
which I think
yeah.
is a Packers record. So he was dialed in this game. I think he went 27 for 36 for nearly 300 yards, three touchdowns. And the majority of that going to Tucker Kraft, who had an absolute monster performance on National Tight Ends Day. He had 7 receptions for 143 yards and two touchdowns, and I have him in fantasy, so that definitely helped me out. 33 points with fantasy. But yeah, it was impressive comeback from the Packers. The Steelers defense, this vaunted defense that one of the highest paid defenses in the league has really been not good, across the board against the pass, against the run, total defense, and something you don't expect to see from a Mike Tomlin team. But they really have, especially in this game when they were up, they couldn't shut the door on the Packers and win at home. So yeah, it was a disappointing loss for the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers had a pretty decent game, but Jordan Love had a better game in the return of Aaron Rodgers, and the Packers get the last laugh really. So yeah, this is probably the most impressive pack I've seen of the Packers in the last like since week one. In all
Since
fairness,
since that Lions game.
yeah,
Yeah.
since that Lions game, because they've been somewhat unconvincing, but they turned on in this one.
Well, you forgot to mention the most glaring thing in this whole game was the Steelers uniforms.
Oh yeah, those were awful. Yeah, they look like warning signs. Like I'm pretty sure I saw Mima McCombs tweet about it to say that it was like it looked like a warning sign. I watched it come out in like when they were practicing, and I'm like, surely they're not playing in those horrible jerseys. And then they did. So I was like, wow, yeah, they were bad. They were really bad.
They were really bad. Also, Aaron Rodgers failed to beat his old team, which would have put him on a list of a very small amount of quarterbacks who've beaten all 32 teams in the league. I'm sure you've looked this up, Tom, but can you name those four quarterbacks?
To beat all the
All
team.
32 teams.
Ooh, Peyton Manning,
That is one.
Tom Brady.
That is two.
Ooh, how many are there?
There's four.
Four.
And they all have played in the last 25 years.
Brett Favre
That's correct. That's three.
and
The last one's hard, but you're going to be like, ah, of course.
not Drew
It
Brees.
is Drew Brees.
Hey, hold on then.
Tom,
Clean sweep.
boom. That was good, man. I don't think I would have ever gotten Drew Brees.
No,
Yes.
I was just thinking of players that played like for a long time, and those were the ones that came to mind. So yeah,
No,
we'll
this
take
is.
it.
And if you're also wondering why I don't have my normal Falcons background, it's not because of boycott. It's more because I'm actually recording this and doing this for Fletch, so you can see the whole. This is the magic behind the thing. You see my.
You look like you should
Yeah.
be a coach for the Falcons right now, Chapman.
Honestly, so this was the free gift this year from the season ticket holder thing. It's actually really nice. We're celebrating 60 years of mediocrity right there. And it's actually really comfy, to be
I
honest with
think you
you.
might be actually better on the coaching staff than some of these coaches right now. So.
Well, we're gonna get to that, Tom. Trust me. So, but as you say, we're gonna keep going with the somewhat decent games. I'd like to talk about this game. The New York Giants losing to the Eagles was a rematch of two teams that played each other not just 3 weeks ago. And the Giants came up with a surprise win, but this was all Eagles without AJ Brown. They win 38 to 20 in Philadelphia. Did you get a chance to see any of this game?
I did. Yeah, yeah. I think the biggest thing that came out of this game for me was I had a feeling going into this game that this was going to be the Saquon Barkley breakout game. I
Hmm.
just felt that like recently he's been getting close, but that he's just too good of a running back to be held down for so long. And then you saw it on his first touch from scrimmage. He goes 70 odd yards for a touchdown. And you knew it was going to be, I think the Eagles ran all over the Giants in this game. They had over 260 odd yards as well. But yeah, it was an impressive win for the Eagles. Dallas Goedert had himself a day as well, National Tight Ends Day. Jalen Hurts, continued to have a really good performance off the back of last week as well. So yeah, impressive win for the Eagles. The one thing I would say is I don't know when we're gonna get it, banned or whatever with the tush push. It's not so much it's the way it's officiated because there was a clear fumble by Jalen Hurts that was then recovered by the Giants,
Yeah.
that then wasn't called because they said it was forward progress, but they just don't know how to officiate it. So it's not so much the tush push itself, it's the officiating around it, which would have given the Giants the ball in, scoring position, and instead the Eagles get the ball back, and that's a 14-point swing. So that was one of the things I wanted to point out from that game. But obviously we had the Scatterboo injury, and the Jackson Dart touchdown that brought it a little bit closer. But yeah, Eagles comprehensive Eagles win.
Yeah. Uh, the Eagles were able to rush for one of the three teams yesterday that rushed for over 245 yards. Saquon finished the day with 150 yards, but was taken out with a groin injury, which is not deemed to be serious. It was more
Hank Bigsby
precautionary.
as well picked up a
That's what I was about to say.
31.
Yeah. Then Tank Biskey came in. Yeah, that's right.
He picked up a 30, I think it was second and 31 at one point, and he picked up like 33 yards on the play, and that was insane. So fair
He
play to
rushed for
him.
104 yards. And they're the first Philly teammates to rush for over 100 yards each in 12 years, which is interesting. So,
Impressive.
anyway, the Eagles keep grounding out wins, and it looks inevitable that they might be the 1 or 2 seed this year in the NFC.
Mm,
Yep.
yep, I'd agree.
Yep. All right. Sorry, I dropped something. Let's go ahead and to another really good team. This is again, not a great game, but it was the Colts beating their AFC rivals, the Tennessee Titans, 38-14. I think the thing to talk about in this game is how good, and we were texting about it yesterday, how good Jonathan Taylor is right now. He had another day where he had 2 touchdowns, multi-touchdown games, 153 yards. Daniel Jones also has a nice day, throws 3 touchdowns, 272. Took him a little while to going. Yes, they're beating the Titans, which are one of the worst teams in the entire NFL, but that's what you're supposed to do when you're a good team.
Oh yeah, 100%. And there was a really nice touchdown catch as well for Michael Pittman, who got it with like one hand to the side of his body. So that was really, really impressive. But yeah, definitely this is again, this Colts offensive line is playing incredible, creating those gaps for Jonathan Taylor. But Jonathan Taylor is just, I mean, at the moment with some of the other performances this week. I mean, he's got to be the MVP front runner right now. He's got 143 carries for 850 yards and 14 total touchdowns. To put that into perspective, last season with Saquon, who had the incredible season that he only had 12 touchdowns in a regular season. And Jonathan Taylor's already got 14 in 8 games. Like
Mm.
he's on historic pace right now. And he should be the MVP front runner. So, but yeah, another impressive win for the Colts, who, although their schedule has been, easier to start the year, they're going to be playing these tougher teams coming up. I'm looking forward to them. We're playing them on the 23rd of November, Chiefs. So I think there's tougher tests to come for the Colts, but they're putting these bad teams away, and they're playing incredible to start this year. So yeah, very, very impressive. 7-1 now, most wins, lead the league, lead the NFL. So yeah, really, really impressive from the Colts.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. You basically covered it all. I will get to see this team live in Berlin in 2 weekends, and when Jonathan Taylor might could go for 300 yards, maybe on my team, we'll see. Um, But yeah, I mean they're for real, and I mean they can only play the teams that they're put up against. And granted, I don't think they're patting themselves on the back, but that was you know, you beat bad teams and you beat them handily. Cam Ward honestly didn't have a bad day yesterday, and just to put a little bit of things for those Titans fans. And I think what was weird was Mike McCoy was playing pretty scared. I think there was a time where they punted on a 4th and 4, and they
Mm.
were on, and it's like they were down 2 touchdowns already or something like that. I can't remember
Yeah,
exactly
I
what it
mean
was.
they're just not a good team. They're just like, I
Yeah,
mean,
but if you're an interim coach, dude, go for it. Like what else? What?
yeah, true. I mean, show a bit of life.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
after this game, I think Roger McCreary actually got traded from the Titans
he did to the
to the
Rams.
Rams, so he got
Yeah,
out of that dumpster fire. Good for him.
yeah. Well, there you go. Let's swap over to. We'd love to talk about this with Ollie. I've missed Ollie talking about the Browns, but um, the New England Patriots defeat the Cleveland Browns in New England 32-13. Now, we're going to start this by talking about the Cleveland Browns because Myles Garrett single-handedly kept them in this game. He had 5 sacks, which is a franchise record. He was benched later, not because of anything bad he did, but just because the game was so out of hand, and he was pissed about it because he's such a player. But um, Drake May look great again, and he continues to look really good. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this New England Patriots team is definitely ahead of schedule, I think.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think yeah, Drake May continues to, be one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. And he continues to throw a beautiful deep ball as well. He threw a really nice one today. Or on Sunday even. I don't know if it's the Keishon Boutte or I can't remember who caught that one, but I think Stephon Diggs got his first touchdown of the year as well, which was
Did
good
he
for him.
really?
Yeah, I
I thought
think
he
so.
had. I thought he had one already.
No, I don't think he had one. I think this might have been his
Really?
first one. Yeah, which is interesting.
Huh.
But the Browns on the other side, I feel sorry for Myles Garrett because he's a generational player on this team, and this team is just not good. I'm sure Ollie agrees with that. Quinton Judkins went out in this game; he got injured, so hopefully he's not out for too long. But they're just not. They're just historically bad offense right now outside of Quinton Judkins. Dylan Gabriel looks small on the field. He doesn't have a lot of help. And they just got dominated in this game. They got dog walked the majority of this game. There was a point where it was like somewhat close, but after that the Patriots just kind of blew them away. And not to take away from an absolute dominant performance from Myles Garrett. It's just a shame that they were down 3 touchdowns by the time they take him out, and he's got 5 sacks. Yeah, incredible game. So yeah, shame for the Browns, but yeah, impressive win for the Patriots at home. And you have to beat the bad teams again, like the Colts do, and that's exactly what the Patriots did. And AFC East is going to be going to go right down to the
Very
wire.
interesting. Yeah. All 4 AFC East teams won this week, uh, which that doesn't happen quite often. So we've done Jets, we've done New England. We'll talk about the Bills next, but yes, the Patriots are 6-2. They play my dumb team next week. The last time they played each other, I was there in Atlanta, and it was a Mac Jones 44-0 blowout. It was the last time I ever saw Matt Ryan play football. Yeah, exciting time. Yes, I'm very sad, guys. That's the theme of this weekend. All right, but shots off to the. I mean, but also that Brown offense is just awful.
Just so bad.
It's just so bad. I was listening to a podcast today, and somebody was suggesting that maybe you let Deshaun Watson come back and just see if he's got anything because
I
you're
think that might
paying.
have been Heat the Call.
Oh, it was he. It was Connor Orr. That's right.
It was kind
Yes.
of on because
Yeah.
I listened to it, so yeah.
Yeah. I was like, it's not
Yeah,
bad. So
when you're calling for Deshaun Watson to come back to see if he's got any juice, it's bad. So
yeah.
yeah,
All right. We're gonna go to the Bills next. We'll just do the whole NFC or A, excuse me, AFC East. So, the Bills, after losing 2 in a row, then having their bye week, they go to Carolina and face the Panthers, and they win 40-9. This is a theme this week, guys. A lot of blowouts, seven in fact. 40-9. Panthers didn't have a chance. They played Andy Dalton. The dumbest thing that we didn't do, Tom, is that we didn't combine whatever little pocket change we have and put it
Mm,
all on whatever the spread was on this game. Because after losing two games and then having a bye week, you knew that this, I mean, look, the Bills whatever this year, they're still going to the playoffs. They're more than likely still going to win this division with Josh Allen. And they should have come in and trounced Carolina, a team that was starting their backup quarterback, who Andy Dalton looks like he's, it's time for him to go out to pasture, just like
mm,
the quarterback we're going to talk about next. But anyway, um, no big thoughts. They got back on the, I guess the one thing to say is Cook, who is on my fantasy team, had a huge day rushing
mm.
for, I believe, over 200 yards.
212 yards and two
Yeah.
touchdowns, I believe,
Great,
which is
great
his
day.
career high as well, including one run that I think it was like 60-yarder or something. He just ran away from the defense.
Yeah.
But the Panthers didn't really help themselves either, especially as you say, Andy Dalton. He had three turnovers himself, so they didn't help themselves. But the Bills were, felt like they were always going to win this game, and whatever confidence that the Panthers had taken from their three straight wins was decimated in this absolute. They got absolutely dominated. So.
Yeah. Um, Josh Allen, this is a fun little fact. Josh Allen is his 46th game in his career where he's passed and ran at least one TD, which is an NFL record.
And he got to 70 rushing touchdowns, I believe, which is only Cam Newton has more.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
pretty incredible.
Yeah. Cook is, if there was no Jonathan Taylor, Cook would be right behind him
Mm,
in terms of his rushing prowess this season. All right, let's get really depressing. Let's get through it. The Miami Dolphins, also in the AFC East, a 1-6 team, came in the 3-3 Falcons in Atlanta, and they beat the pants off of them. This was a game that was over 25 minutes in. Penix is a late scratch on Saturday, and Kirk Cousins starts. The Falcons were missing six starters in this game, but that wasn't the reason they lost. The Dolphins coming into this game could not run the ball and couldn't stop the run, and they came in and did both very well. Achan had a great game. Tua, who looked absolutely dreadful last week, was fighting with Mike McDaniel all week. Had been, the talk that Mike McDaniel might lose his job last Monday, but he did not. Tua comes in, was fine, but he did throw for four touchdowns. Kirk Cousins showed us that he's completely washed, and that no one's going to be trading for him. And yeah, and this Falcons team continues to be a roller coaster where one week they can beat the Bills handedly, and then the next week they can. I mean, this is a worse loss than that Carolina loss. This is completely
mm,
embarrassing. Um, and this definitely gives me, I mean, now I'm completely out on this coaching staff and just will be kind of checked out the rest of the season, unfortunately. Anyway, both these teams don't matter. They both suck. And I don't know. The Falcons are probably going to screw around and win eight games, which I hope they do because they
mm.
don't have a first round pick next year, which is with our friend Sam. It's Rams. So I want them to at least win enough games to change coaches and GMs, but uh, maybe not be so feeling so hurt about the top 10 pick going out the door. But anyway, Tom, you don't got any thoughts, any questions?
No, I was just gonna say, I guess it kind of shows how one-dimensional the Falcons offense is when Drake London's not out there as well.
Oh
Because,
yeah.
when they got that 1-2 punch of Drake London and Bijan Robinson, it adds kind of a different element to the offense because, Drake London's going to get open, he's a big body receiver. But Bijan was bottled up in this game, obviously, as was Tyler Algier, only 45 rushing yards. So yeah, it's kind of a game where the Falcons came back down to earth after, impressive win against the Bills. And they beat the Commanders and Bills, didn't they, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be
The Moss.
completely out on the season. It's still 3-4. There's still plenty of, obviously I know the Bucks got a win as well. They're 6-2, but um I don't think the Falcons are completely done. I just think, yeah, I mean, the Dolphins just turned on this game. It was one of those sort of games where it's just like one of the worst teams in the league. They just like turned up and played really well. It's just one of those random ones. So I think.
Yeah, but Tom, you get one of those, and that was the Panthers game a few
True.
weeks
Yeah,
ago in
you
week
have
three.
had
This
two
is
of them, so I do get it.
this is week 9. You don't get to do that again.
I do think
I
Raheem
I,
Morris
I
will probably be out if you guys don't, you know, yeah,
we don't have a winning record. He's out,
yeah,
no
yeah,
matter what. But and it's quite unfortunate. But also, this has been in the year and a half he's been there. This is a tenure where they're just so inconsistent, and like we can take losses, but what you can't take is losing 34 to 10. Like we've scored 20 points in the last 8 quarters of football, and this
yeah,
team was completely designed to get a lead and then have the defense sort of grind the game out for us. That was their whole game plan. Hey, we're gonna get up early and then which is what they did with the Bills. Like we got up early and then they get to they get to run. And everybody's kind of figured them out, as you said. That's what you said, Tom. And I hate this for some of these guys because like Robinson and Drake was out, obviously. But we'll see. I mean, for me, the rest of the season is about Michael Penix and just
mm,
judging whether he's the guy, and then
yeah,
hopefully finding a coaching staff that can come in and maximize whatever he can be along with these other weapons. But I'm
yeah,
not trying to be dour, but it's just like that it was just that's a brutal. That's not a like you get like I said, you get one and they already had it. It was the Panthers game. This is two. You can't lose to the Dolphins at home. They also were highly like they've been pretty decent with penalties all season. They had at one point more penalty yards than they actually had yards on offense.
wow.
I mean, yeah, so it was pretty bad. But anyway, the Dolphins, they go to 2-6. As you said, the Falcons are 3-4. Um, Mike McDaniel keeps his job another week, though I understand they are going to Spain later this year, and maybe that's when and they have a bye afterwards, and that might be when that axe comes down, depending on.
Who are
So
they playing? They're playing the Commanders, aren't they, in Spain?
they are playing the Commanders in
Yeah,
Spain. Yep,
yeah.
that's right. All right, bouncing around. Should we? Let's go to the Buck. You mentioned it. The Bucks.
Mm,
We can go down to the NFC South.
yeah,
The Buccaneers go down to New Orleans and beat the. Well, they don't beat the brakes up, but it's 23-3 against the Saints. But the Saints couldn't do anything, and I think at
no.
some point it's up. Um, all I kept seeing was I keep wanting to call him Ritter, but Rattler. Um, I think he threw one pick six, which I saw, and I had the Tampa Bay defense, so I was very
Mm.
excited about. Then he threw another one, but I believe it got called that it wasn't a touchdown.
Yeah,
It was
it
an
got called
intercept.
back. There was a bunch of weird calls in this game where it could have, it could have been a higher score for the Bucks. There was one that was pretty nice where the defender literally just like he tried to throw the ball away. The defender just caught it in midair and just big bodied him, pushed him to the ground and went in for a touchdown, which that was kind of crazy. He ended up getting benched later in this game. Did Spencer Rattler, in came Tyler Shark. I mean, the Saints know that they're picking a new quarterback next year anyway. So it's just a kind of a down year for the Saints. And, I mean, Baker Mayfield wasn't great in this game either, but he didn't really need
No.
to be because the Bucks defense played absolutely incredible. Antoine Winfield, one of the best defenders in the league on his day. And he can continued that. So, yeah, pretty dominant win for the Bucks, and it was at the Saints as well, wasn't it? Right?
Yeah, it was in New Orleans.
Yeah, New
The one,
Orleans.
the and I don't like saying anything nice about the Saints ever, but I will
Mm,
say this: having watched all bits and pieces of all their games, Kellen Moore has them playing hard. Like they
mm.
know they're not going to win, and like they're not good, but like they're trying.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, and I saw that Saints defense, like they were getting after Baker at certain points and stuff like that. But
yeah. No,
you,
they definitely were. It's just the Saints' offense just can't keep up with
no,
the
no.
Bucks anyway. Even though the Bucks weren't great in this game offensively, but they did enough, and they grinded out one of those kind of ugly wins.
Yep. And that's what you got to do during a football season. Talk about an ugly win. The Ravens finally get their second win of the season. They defeat the Bears in Baltimore 30-16. This was the Snoop game. Snoop Huntley. came in replacing who we thought that Lamar Jackson was going to be playing all week, but then he was suddenly scratched on Saturday or whatever. But Hundley did enough to win. Derrick Henry has 2 touchdowns in this game. It was pretty close, I think, for a good portion of the game. And then I just find that box score. Did you get to see any of this one?
Yeah. I watched most of it on kind of red zone.
Right.
But once the Ravens took the lead, they never looked back, really. There was a bad throw from Caleb Williams that went for a touchdown. That was kind of the momentum shifter, or the thing that kind of ended the Bears' hopes in this one. I actually picked the Ravens to win this game in the pick 'em on Sleeper, just because I felt that
Uh,
they were getting back. I knew Roquan Smith was coming back. Tyler.
yeah,
It could kind of does make you question why they ever made Cooper Rush the backup when Tyler Huntley can, at least competently run this off. Obviously, I know the Bears defense isn't great, but still, why have Cooper Rush, who was absolutely terrible in the games that he played, when you got more of an archetypal, Snoop Huntley, who's more like, obviously he's not Lamar Jackson, no one's Lamar Jackson, but he's more of that type than Cooper Rush. So yeah, but the Baltimore Ravens needed to win this game. Lamar's
yes.
coming back against the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football, so this could be the game that turns their fate this season. They could still win the AFC North the way the AFC
It
North
could.
is. So it's yeah, very needed win for them, and much better defensive performance for them as well.
Yes. I continue not to really know what the Bears are at this point, even though they
Mm.
are 4-3.
They
Run
feel like pretty fugazi. Like, I don't know, like they're 4-3, but like they could easily be like 2-5, or
right.
like it's Caleb Williams isn't playing great either. So
He is not.
at least
No.
the running game has been, I mean, it wasn't brilliant in this game, but that has been kind of the one solid piece for them. But I think they're still kind of figuring it out, really. And Ben Johnson's still, obviously he's going to get time to sort out, Caleb Williams, and we'll have to see if that does work. But, it was a kind of coming back to earth game after they'd started the season pretty brightly 4-2. So
Yeah. We got 2 games left. The Texans defeat San Francisco in Houston, 26-15. The Texans now go to 3-4. The 49ers 5-3. This is a game where CJ Stroud was a little get right game for him. Had 318 yards, 2 TDs, 1 pick. The defense on the Texan side kept Mac Jones in check, even though he did have 2 touchdowns. This saw Kittle come back on. Well, he came back a little. No, he did come back this week.
yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. He played. No, he played against the Falcons. But anyway, um, he also it was National Tight Ends Day, which was the day that he invented. He had a touchdown in his other teammate, tight end Jake Tongs. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Tongs,
Jake Tongus, I think. Yeah.
Tonga. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He
a lot of
he
tight
had
end touchdowns today.
mm.
Everybody was celebrating. I don't really get it. It feels very young millennial bullshit. Anyway, excuse my language.
It's okay.
I don't believe in either of these teams, though. I do think San Francisco might could sneak around because Kyle Shanahan's so good and get into a wild card spot. And the Texans play in the worst division in all of football, but they're not going to beat the Colts. So anyway, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, well, it was impressive from CJ Stroud, especially considering um Nico Collins was a scratch for this game as well, so he wasn't playing, his best receiver. Woody Marks, he had a good game. And it really helps when, you can possess the ball for the longest time. In the first half, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it was a record or something, but the Texans held the ball for 24 minutes and 13 seconds of the first half, compared to the the 49ers only held it for just over 6 minutes. So when you can just run the ball and hold the ball, have all that possession, then you're going to have more and more of a chance to win the game. Obviously, the 49ers came back into it with the Tonjes touchdown. But after that,
What did you say? Tungus?
I think it's Tonjes, Jake Tonjes. I think so.
Okay.
I
All
think it
right.
is. But at least that's what the broadcaster said. So I'll go with what his
You should.
pronunciation
You should.
was. But then yeah, then once the Texans went back down the field, scored a touchdown. Jen Higgins scored a touchdown, I believe. Um, they kind of salted the game away. Impressive win for them at home, especially after getting, beaten pretty soundly by the Seahawks.
That's right. Good win. Good win for the Texans. And then the final game, which I guess we can hit the Thursday game too, but we'll do the final game from Sunday, which was the Broncos after that crazy comeback win over the Giants, handily beat the Dallas Cowboys 44 to 24.
Yeah.
Uh, Drake, Bo Nix, 247 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. This was a day when Dak Prescott, who was getting a lot of MVP chatter pre this, or at least from the stats category, does not have a great game. 2 picks in this, no touchdowns, 188 yards. This is a game where the Dallas defense couldn't stop anything that the Broncos were doing. Good running day for J.K. Dobbins. Their rookie quarterback Harvey had a really fun touchdown. Was it a catch? I think it was a catch. Um, no, yes, it was a catch. If you didn't see that one, and the Broncos improved to 6-2 and are looking like a team that could challenge those Chiefs, those pesky Broncos
Yeah,
in the
Broncos,
AFC West.
they're a good team, man.
They
They're
are.
sorry, my laptop's about to run out of power, so I
Oh,
needed
okay.
to plug in. But yeah, the Broncos, they did impress me, especially RJ Harvey. He kind of had a breakout game in this one. He had 2 touchdowns. Um, what you call him? Bo Nix, after throwing an early pick that was just a bad throw, he ended up throwing 4 touchdowns. I mean, I don't take too much away from this game because the Cowboys have the worst defense in the league by, a lot of different metrics, but the Broncos put them away. Bo Nix had a very impressive day. And the Cowboys couldn't keep up. And this felt like one of those weeks where, Baker Mayfield had probably his worst game of the year. Dak Prescott had one of his worst games of the year. Um, and obviously we were talking about Jonathan Taylor before. It's kind of where he cemented his MVP status right now with some of these other quarterbacks not playing.
Do you know who has the best odds to win MVP this year?
Is it Patrick Mahomes?
It is Patrick Mahomes.
He's
Followed
playing
by,
tonight, so we'll have to wait and
followed
see.
by, can you name the top three? So Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, so
Don't
Mahomes,
think too hard.
um,
Number two is easy. Come on.
Josh Allen.
Correct. Number three is surprising.
Is Daniel Jones?
Nope. But in the
Oh, is it Jonathan Taylor? No.
quarterback, it's Drake May.
Drake May, number 3. Wow, fair play. I mean,
Yes.
he is having a very impressive year. So
He
no, but
is. He is.
it was impressive win for the Broncos. Yeah,
It
especially
was.
with RJ Harvey. And then I think also J.K. Dobbins went over 100 yards as well. And I think they took out some of their starters towards the end because they knew that they were way up in this game. But I have been impressed with Bo Nix. His poise, his ability to throw the ball down the field, his confidence. And it's definitely going to be, one hell of a fight for the AFC West with the Broncos winning this one. They moved to 6-2. Obviously, the Chiefs are 4-3 right now, and going to be playing the Commanders later tonight on Monday Night Football. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it shakes out.
Well, let's talk about that in just a second. I'd love to get your take. But before we do that, let's talk quickly about the Thursday night game because Fletch always yells at us because we always ignore the Thursday night game because I'm like, that was like a week ago. But I just think it's important because it was a impressive Chargers win on Thursday night, 37-10 over the Vikings.
Mm.
Everybody looked good on the
Yeah.
Chargers offense. Their back was it their third string running back, Vidal, 117 yards and a touchdown, looked amazing. Justin Herbert, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Carson Wentz looked awful.
Mm.
Everything about this Vikings offense looked awful except for
I mean,
Justin
I
Jefferson.
just don't know why he's still playing because he's clearly injured. I mean, he was injured in this game. Like, why he came
Yeah,
back in? I mean, he's trying to gut it out. You got to give him credit for that. But the Vikings
agree.
have taken, a wrong turn so far. After somewhat of a decent start. They've lost two in a row, I believe. They have lost
Yeah,
two in a row, haven't they? I think. Um, and yeah, it was an impressive win for the Chargers. It's just a bad matchup for the Vikings, in all honesty. Just the kind of defense and stuff that they play, the Chargers are going to take advantage of that. And Orlando Gadsden, I think it is, the tight end for the Chargers. He had a really good game as well. And yeah, fair play for the Chargers for that win. They're still very much in the hunt in the AFC West again.
yeah, exactly. Um, I got them as my wild card team.
Mm.
So, uh, I'll that is it for the slate. Do you want to say anything about Monday night tonight? What are you expecting from your Chiefs? What do you is Daniel Jones is not playing still, right?
No, Marcus
Marcus
Mariota
Mariota,
is
yeah, yeah.
starting for the Chapman hated Marcus Mariota is starting for the Commanders.
I don't hate Marcus Mariota, but I just really don't like the fact that he literally quit the team because he got benched, and no one in the NFL, like if he did that on almost in like 20 of the other 32 teams, it would have been a bigger deal. He quit. He quit on the team. That's so lame. Anyway,
No, I
sorry.
hear it. I hear it for sure. I think obviously the Chiefs have the advantage in terms of, Jaden Daniels isn't playing this game, so they're not going to have to worry about that elusiveness, trying to create chances, running the ball, being effective as quarterback. Um, and I think one thing they've got to really take advantage of is the Commanders are really bad in terms of defending the slot. So I think Xavier Worthy's going to eat up in that position. And one thing that the Commanders have really struggled with as well, Marshawn Lattimore has been really, struggling. So I think the Chiefs have kind of got to take advantage of that, get the ball down the field, throw the ball to Rashee Rice. Get the ball to Tyquan Thornton. He's been quiet recently, but I think this is a game where he could come back into it. Um, and
What about a Travis Kelce anytime touchdown?
yeah, I mean, I could see him getting it. I could see him. I mean, if we're doing an extension of national titles,
Doomsday, I guess.
but either way, I think the Chiefs will win this game. I think it will be closer. I'm probably gonna go for a 30-21 victory for the Chiefs.
Okay. So we should get our little pennies together, maybe, because it's a 10.5 point spread. I feel
Ooh,
like you guys can,
10.5 point spread. Wow, they're thinking it's going to be that much of a wide
yeah.
margin.
If you like, look, and the thing I would say is if you like gambling on football, and who doesn't, but you like to do it in a fun way, then you should check out our sponsor, NFL Daily Fantasy app. It's the UK's homemade fantasy app, and you can pick players and bet on their outcomes and get a little team together. Fletch is way better than this than me, but they are our sponsor. And if you go on their site, if you go on their app, excuse me, and you sign up as a new person, you can get a £7 50 credit on us if you use our code Hurdle without the U because
Because there's no hurdle the line without you.
there we go. We love our fans fantasy game day. Go check them out. I'm sorry I'm not as great at that read as I could be, uh, but we love them, and we'd love more sponsors. If you're a bakery, if you are a repair shop, if you make kebabs, I don't know. We'd love to have you on. Tom, you got anything else for us this week? This is like literally a record. This is like my dream scenario of what we'd be doing every week.
Uh, no, I don't think. I think that the only thing left is to hurdle something, but I don't know what that
Uh,
is.
I've got it. Don't you
You
worry.
got it. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. This was I forgot to say at the top of the show, this is the review show. This is the week 9 review show. We only have 9 more weeks to go of football. Jeez, it's just flying by. We're basically halfway through the season,
It's crazy.
roughly. We have 8 more weeks, but there's 9 more weeks. Anyway, buys and whatnot. This was your buy apocalypse, by the way. If you do play fantasy, we got through this week with a 6. I won all of my fantasy leagues this week, which when that happens and the Falcons lose, it's
I'm hoping Xavier Worthy puts up about 35 points for me to win one of my matchups, so we'll have to wait and see.
all right. Well, I hope Bryce catches a couple too. We hope you've won your fantasy, but more importantly, thank you so much for listening to us. We'll be back next week as we always are on our we record on Mondays, post on Tuesdays. But don't forget to listen to all our other friends on the AAW network. There's College Pod, which I believe is on Wednesday. There's the preview with Carl, Sam, and Fletch. Who knows who else is on that pod? I'm sure it's fun. I like listening to it when I can. Um, and then join us back. We promise we will kidnap Ali and make him join the show at some point.
He
Shout
promised to
out
be
to
back next week, so we will hold him to that.
he always promises us, but he's a fickle podcast host, that man. But we miss Ollie. We hope Fletch had a good weekend with his family, or night with his family, I should say. Thank you, Tom, for joining. I'm Chapman. I'm signing off. Hurdle that blowout.